What is going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. This is your host, behind the mic, Matt, the Misfit, for your Monday Night Raw for July the 3rd, 2023. This was actually a very good show. Not like boring show, but, a good show. Nonetheless, they actually had really good wrestling on the show, which is always a good thing to see. We've seen the return of Brock Lesnar. We've seen Ronda Rousey get cooked by Shayna Baszler. I can't wait to talk about that. We've seen Dom get his ass kicked by Seth Rollins. We've seen a tease of cash-in by Damian Priest, and we've seen a little tease of a cash-in. Well, not really a cash-in, but it was a teaser from Io Sky, teasing the whole thing with Rhea Ripley, and that and much, much more. We've seen a banger of a match between Rhea Ripley and Natalya, but we'll talk about that and much, much more. Hit the like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/@MisfitWrestlingPodcast. You can follow those social medias, depending on how long I will be on Twitter, depending on how long Elon Musk decides to not be a fucking piece of shit. Misfit Podcast TV for ever how long, I don't fucking know, who cares. But if you want to listen to the audio outlets, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Audible, and the Pandora. And some other places as there, I guess, as well. Oh, and whatever. But if you guys want to find me on Mastodon, because I've made an account over there at Misfit Wrestling Podcast at Mastodon.social. Or you just look up Misfit Wrestling Podcast on Mastodon's website. I'm going to try to figure out how to get Sky Blue or Blue Sky, not Sky Blue. That sounded creepy. Blue Sky, which is basically Twitter, but, not run by Elon Musk. Yeah, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, man, there's a lot of things building towards SummerSlam. We've seen programs for SummerSlam kick off. Match is not really announced for SummerSlam, but we have an idea of what's going to happen at SummerSlam, and I'll go through what may be the matches going into the biggest party of the summer. But the show opened with Seth freaking Rollins, who came out here. He was basking in the audience here in Baltimore, Maryland, with the song Welcome Me and all that stuff here. He discusses the festivities of Money in the Bank and his victory over Finn Balor at the pay-per-view, then addresses SummerSlam, which is coming up. Before Rollins can continue, Cody Rhodes comes out here, and I'm thinking to myself, Cody, you just said at the press conference that this is not the title you want because this is not the story you're trying to finish. But thankfully, that didn't happen, because before he even could finish what he was about to say, Brock Lesnar comes out here. Those two start beating the ever-living shit out of each other. Brock Lesnar, who was advertised before the report of Brock Lesnar is in town, he was advertised for the show at WWE.com. And, it's not really a spoiler when WWE says he's there. But he dumps Cody in the ring, sets up for an F5. Cody escapes and lands a really good Cody cutter. And Brock sold it. If Brock likes you, he's going to sell the shit for you. So again, we're setting up more of Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes for SummerSlam. So that's one of the matches now being set up for the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins is still in the ring, gets interrupted by the Judgment Day, which is Money in the Bank contract holder Damian Priest, the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio, who apparently is now going by Dirty Dom. Okay. Rhea says everyone is here to see the Judgment Day take over. You know what? I agree on that sentiment here. Because Judgment Day is the best thing on Raw outside of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And right now, whatever the fuck they're doing with Shayna Baszler, but we'll get to Shayna in just a little bit. Rollins questions her statement. He takes notes of Finn Balor's absence, who again he was not out. He's not there for most of the show, and he ends up showing up at the end of the Raw. We'll talk about that. He asked where Balor is. Says while Balor is prone to sneak attacks, something tells him this isn't the case, or whatever that means. Rhea says Balor's whereabouts is none of your business. And Priest says the only thing he should be concerned about is my Money in the Bank briefcase. He says he could cash in on him at any time, including tonight. Rollins says Priest is forgetting you have to catch the champion when they're beaten down, but he's as good as new. Oh, something along the lines of that. He says he was playing to party, but he's happy to have a match. Priest says he hopes Rollins has the energy to be beaten by someone next to him. Rhea suggests Dominic, since she already has a title match later on tonight, throws out the challenge on his behalf. Rollins accepts the challenge after some encouragement from the audience, and then we got set up for the main event, which is Dominic versus Seth Rollins in a non-title match. So yeah, I like what they're doing here with. I like what they're doing here with Damian Priest and planting the seeds of what they're going to be. I don't know what they're going to be doing here with Priest, Balor, and the Judgment Day, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But I'm enjoying what they're doing here. Speaking of Damian Priest, he has a match next with Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the competitors from the Money in the Bank ladder match. This match was actually pretty good. Nakamura has been on another level since coming back. He feels more motivated in this match. He's just having banger matches since coming back. Probably gave Karrion Kross his best match on the main roster, which is not hard to do when you're Shinsuke Nakamura. But they delivered some knee strikes to each other. Nakamura escapes a vertical suplex attempt by Damian Priest, delivers a knee to Priest's midsection that sends him tumbling to the outside. Nakamura then sends him into the barricade near the timekeeper's area. Face first before. He sends him into the timekeeper's area face first before Priest plants him on top of his spine, or takes Nakamura's spine and places it on top of the timekeeper's area. They go to commercial break. Then from coming back from commercial break afterwards, Nakamura is firing off a series of right hands and kicks rather. Nakamura plants him with a leg sweep, then follows that up with kick that sends him to the middle rope, getting ready to hit that middle rope Kinshasa. He goes flying, but Priest catches him with the right hand, sets up the South of Heaven. Nakamura counters into a roll up. Priest kicks out. Nakamura looks for that armbar transition. He likes because I've seen him and Asuka have some beautiful transitions. If you've noticed how they do their submission moves and they do that armbar that I've seen Nakamura and Asuka hit on people, they'll come out they'll hit that on you without a nowhere, and it looks beautiful. But Priest blocks it, delivers a spinning heel kick. He sets Nakamura up for the Razor's Edge, but Nakamura escapes, delivers a knee off the middle rope. That middle rope Kinshasa is what I'm talking about. Sets up for the regular Kinshasa, but Priest ducks out of the way, lands a vicious clothesline, which knocked Nakamura out of his boots like he flipped. It looked nasty. Then he follows up with the South of Heaven for the win. Damian Priest gets your win here, which I'm very surprised that they didn't have Priest straight up lose after winning the Money in the Bank, because that's usually how that works, is they have the person win Money in the Bank and then up and losing a bunch of matches. I don't think that's going to be the case for Io and Damian Priest, and I'll talk about what I think is, because there's a rumor going around that the women briefcase winner is going to lose their cash in. I don't think that's going to be the case, and I'll explain why when we get to the main event. Ronda Rousey comes to the ring because we were promised the women's tag team champions were going to come out. Nope, just Ronda Rousey. Ronda is about to speak. Shayna Baszler's music hits. Shayna, I hear, about to start some truth bombs here. Says she speaks for everyone. When she says, "We're tired of trying to hear you learn how to speak on a microphone." That got the crowd popping. I was like, I'm sorry, what? that's the reaction I got. Ronda asked Shayna for an explanation that she owes her one. And Shayna's like, I owe you an explanation. You're a narcissistic bitch. Well, I didn't say the bitch part, but she was going to say it. Calls her self-absorbed. Baszler vents her frustrations, asks her about her tryout. It's like basically, where were you? You weren't there when I had to build rings for about 30 people, or that I had to sign do a tryout or what's the word? Sign something. I forgot what it was. Sign an application. Sign up an application. No, you decided to just walk your ass back into the company and go straight to WrestleMania. It's because of me that you're even in this business to begin with, and I owe everyone an apology that you even got into this business. That was the gist of it here. And then she says, near the end of it is, but now there's finally somebody here that can shut you up, and that's me. Ronda kicks Shayna off the ring apron. She starts going after Shayna. Shayna eventually counters and just levels her in the face with the most brutal knee I've ever seen. And then she no-sold about 30 seconds later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this babyface run with Shayna Baszler, and this should be a lot of fun. Hopefully, a motivated Ronda Rousey is a better Ronda Rousey, in my opinion. She's going to be working with somebody she actually likes and respects in the form of Shayna Baszler. And this is the Shayna Baszler I've been waiting to see on the main roster since she came to the main roster. Like, sure, we hate seeing a dominant dominant Shayna in the Elimination Chamber back in 2020. But that was it. That was all we saw of Shayna from NXT. This is badass Shayna Baszler, and I'm so excited to see it. And I'm also very excited that Triple H got her ass out of the fucking tag team division, and he's about to do the same thing with Io Shirai, and I'm very excited to see where that goes. Next up, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez make their way to the ring because we got a tag. Out of nowhere, tag team turmoil with two legitimate teams, and then throw together teams and whatnot. Which sees Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. They took on Indy Hartwell, who was cleared to wrestle, and Candice LeRae, who they're still doing their storyline with Nikki Cross. See where that goes here. I mean, maybe they'll still do the Nikki Cross. Maybe they'll still do Sanity in the Way. Who knows? Tegan Knox was there with Dana Brooke. Because what? I'm a little surprised here. Like, aren't they trying to sell an injury with Dana Brooke that happened on NXT last week or something? Like, what happened to that? It's like they forgot it happened. I just remembered this. I don't know how I did remember it, but it happened. Oh, and Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, and for some odd reason, Nikki Cross and Emma. This didn't mean anything here. I'm not even going to review this match. The match was not very good here. But the Karens won. That's all you need to know. This match was nothing special here. This didn't mean anything because the tag team titles do not mean anything. That was proven very obviously well on Saturday night. So next up, we hear from Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes out here, says that she said the man has come around to Baltimore. While she can move past not winning Money in the Bank, which I'm a little surprised they didn't have her congratulate Io, probably because Io's still a heel, sort of. Not for long though. But she can't seem to get past this itch known as Trish Stratus. She calls out Trish, who comes out here with Zoe Stark. Trish comes out with a face mask like she did back in 06. 06 or no, it was 05. I think it was 05 when she had her. I think it was her nose was broken or something, and they used that as part of her character. This is basically the same face mask. Trish asks Becky if she thinks it's funny that you broke her face, or you broke my face. On Saturday, the crowd says the crowd shouldn't be laughing at her because all they need is masks to cover up their ugly faces. Because that's so original. She says that she would love to fight Becky, but she isn't medically cleared. Becky then invites Zoe to fight her instead, and Trish asks if she's sure about that. Becky says that Zoe is better than her. She's all right. And ask why is that the case? She says if Stark wants to get better, she has to go through her because Trish isn't here to help her, but rather get the glory. Trish says that she's the face of the women's division and gave it relevancy. I wouldn't. Maybe no, you didn't give it relevancy at all. I'm sorry. Like even when you were at the top of the food chain, no one cared about the women's division in WWE because WWE didn't make us care about the women's division in WWE. It wasn't until I'll get to that. I'll talk about that when we get to that. This end of the segment here. She demands respect from Becky and everybody else, and says that Becky tried to break her face. Whatever. Trish and Zoe charge at Becky, but stops and retracts and tells Trish tells Becky that she keep her calendar open next week because Starks will be there for her. I want to talk about this hilarious segment. Okay, so Kevin Patrick actually had one of the best lines of the night. It was probably one of the most intelligent things he's ever said. He said, "Who has a medical appointment at 9:30 p.m. on a Monday night?" And I was like, "That's hilarious." That was funny. KP actually popped me for that one. But yeah, like I was last one to say, no one cared about the women's division while Trish was on top, or Lita for that matter. Sure, they were like the head pillars of that division. Her, Victoria, and those who could actually go in the ring. Sure, but they weren't. They still didn't care about them. Like during that time, during that Divas era, where we're talking about like from 2000 to 2006, 7-ish area, they didn't care about it. The best women's matches, there's only like 2 that I can think of that were actually very, very good that no one really talks about. Well, obviously people talk about that main event from Raw, but like the other one is the street fight. I think it was a regular hardcore match that Victoria and Trish had at the Survivor Series in 2000 or 2002 rather. Other than that, no one cared, like at all. Like for God's sakes, Christy Hemme had a championship match at WrestleMania 21. Now, granted, it was probably supposed to be Trish and Lita, but Lita was injured. I feel like that was supposed to be. I feel like that was a plan. Trish and Lita. The fact that Trish and Lita never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania is kind of mind-boggling to me. Anyway, it didn't get until Triple H Triple H took over FCW and reinversed NXT. We got even though I don't really care for Charlotte, you had your Shawsters, your Beckys, your Baileys, your Asukas, your EOs of the world, Rhea, Shayna, all of that happening on NXT. You have these killer women's matches with, Becky versus Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, the Four Horsemen 4-way, the underrated Becky, Sasha match from Takeover Unstoppable. That's when WWE started caring about women's wrestling. But and then they reintroduced the women's championship. When it was back at WrestleMania that year, 2016, and when you go back to WrestleMania 32, that show was fucking atrocious. But the match people talk about the most is that triple threat match that Sasha should have won, but the triple threat match between Sasha, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky. So, that's just how I feel about it. Like, and we'll talk about Rhea later, because after this, they're clearly going to be doing. I guess the idea is going to do. Well, we'll talk about her in a second, but we have the new Jackie Redmond, whatever you want to call her. We'll call her Miss Jackie. How about that? We're just going to call her Jackie. The new lady who was on doing the stuff for Raw Talk. She welcomes Cody Rhodes to the ringside. Asked for comments about Brock's attack earlier on the night. Cody says that he told Lesnar he would be ready and wants another shot at him, and he says he'll fight him any night. He'll fight him in a boat. He went to Dr. Seuss territory here. Obviously, this is setting up for Brock and Cody for SummerSlam, so that's going to be a big match here. SummerSlam on paper right now, if you think about it, look at fucking fire. And I'll talk about the potential matches that could be happening when we get to August 5th. I think it's August 5th that SummerSlam is happening. We go to the six mixed tag match here, which is not okay. It was okay, but the highlight of this was seeing Maxxine Dupri have her first match here. Dupri lands a pair of arm drags and suplex onto Valhalla, then delivers a splash into the corner. She actually gets the code red onto Valhalla, and Alpha Academy and Maxxine Dupri get up, pick the win. So that was very impressive. This was their first ever match, by the way. I want to put that out here. So pretty cool. You had people, and thank God the person in the ring with her was somebody who's been doing this for however many years Sarah Logan's been wrestling, but otherwise it would have looked like fucking atrocious stuff. Next up, you got Rhea Ripley defeating Natalya in an incredible match that had no right to be as incredible as it is. To me, this match was, I'll talk about it here. So this match was actually pretty good. So Rhea Ripley's coming out here, getting ready for a match. Natalya blindsides her and does some stuff here, kind of like how Rhea has been doing for the past couple of weeks. But this match, near the end of this match, Rhea delivers a kick to Natalya's head, sets up for a power bomb, but Natalya counters to her in actually a really good hurricanrana, hits that discus layer, tribute to the late Brody Lee. Rhea ascends to the top rope, lands a missile drop kick, then clinches the prism lock in. Natalya sends Rhea into the middle turnbuckle to break the hold. Then sets up the sharpshooter. Rhea sends Natalya into the middle turnbuckle as well. And then ascends to the top, goes flying for something. Natalya catches her with a boot, follows that up with a running power slam, locks into the sharpshooter. Rhea was able to get out of it by going underneath the bottom rope here to break the hold. Then delivered a kick and a headbutt, followed up by the riptide for the win. And this actually made Natalya look really, really good. After the match, Rhea Ripley started beating the shit out of Natalya. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez comes down to make the save, and they are staring down while teasing something for SummerSlam. To me, okay, so the match was really good. I enjoyed the match. But what this really was Triple H saying, all right, you guys can shut the fuck up about the booking of Natalya. Because this was their way to shut people up about the way she was booked for the past 2 matches that she had with Rhea Ripley. So, well, the one match and the one beatdown that she had that was supposed to be a match. So there's that. Then we go to a video cap about recapping the Bloodlines Civil War thing at Money in the Bank. There's going to be a trial of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns thing on SmackDown. Should be very, very interesting, which I'm very excited to see about that. Matt Riddle heads down to the ringside. It's Matt Riddle taking on Giovanni Vinci. This didn't do very much here, but Matt Riddle was able to get the roll up on the win. After the match, Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser beat down Matt Riddle, but Drew McIntyre makes the save, going down to the ring, preventing anything else happening here. He levels Vinci with a Claymore kick, then stare down Gunther, setting up their potential SummerSlam match. Judgment Day is seen making their way down to ringside for the Seth Rollins match. For that, we've seen a stare down because she's walking backstage as Rhea Ripley, and we find her and Io Sky. She's teasing maybe she might cash in on her. And Rhea says, it's going to be the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life. We know who she's actually cashing in on, so Rhea doesn't have to worry about that. Main event time. Rey Mysterio. I know Rey Mysterio. I'm looking at Dominic Mysterio and call him Rey Mysterio. Good Lord. Seth Rollins defeated Dominic Mysterio via disqualification. This is basically what happened here. Is so Rollins clotheslines Dominic outside the ring. There's a tope suicida on him and Priest, because Priest almost got involved. He gets him back in the ring with a rolling elbow onto Dominic, sets up for the curb stop. Priest delivers the Southwood to heaven, getting a disqualification, giving it to the win to Seth Rollins. After the match, Priest runs down some right hands. He's getting ready to deliver the Razor's Edge onto the announce table, but Rollins was able to overpower him. Dominic then hits Rollins with the briefcase, tells Priest to cash in. Before he can, Finn Balor blindsides Damian Priest, set up the coup de grace. Priest gets in his face and says, "What are you doing, man?" So Finn Balor blames Damian Priest for what happened to him on Saturday night. And Priest is like, "This ain't about you. This is Judgment Day. This is about Judgment Day. Stop making it all about yourself." He doesn't care. Priest tells him he don't care about the vendetta he has against Rollins. This is about Judgment Day. And so Dominic's trying to cool both of them up. And then he gets a pedigree for his troubles, and then that's how Raw goes off the air. So Raw, wrestling wise, I thought Raw was pretty decent. That Shayna promo was chef's kiss. The opening segment between Brock and Cody was pretty good. The match with Nakamura and Priest was really good. Natalya and Natalya and Rhea had a really, really good match. There's also I forgot to mention there was a backstage segment with Ricochet challenging Logan Paul to a face-to-face confrontation next week, and then we also found out we seen a promo with Miz, also with responding to a promo that Tommaso Ciampa cut. So next week we have matches set for next week, which is going to have a no disqualification match. Tommaso Ciampa and the Miz, Logan Paul and Ricochet have a face-to-face confrontation, and I believe there's something else that was announced for next week, and I don't remember what it was. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. I thought it was a pretty decent show. I give it a 4 out of 5 for the wrestling and that Shayna promo. So here's what it looks like right now for SummerSlam, even though no matches have been officially announced. I might as well get this one out of the way. Rhea Ripley will probably defend the Women's World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. Roman Reigns will obviously defend the Universal title against Jey Uso. Trish Stratus will take on Becky Lynch. Brock Lesnar will take on Cody Rhodes in some type of stipulation match. We're going to get Finn Balor and Seth Rollins again for the world title. Gunther and McIntyre for the Intercontinental title. Well, Edge will be on the pay-per-view somehow. I don't know how, but we'll figure that out. Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Austin Theory, and Sheamus, and probably it's going to be Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Asuka will probably defend her title in a triple threat with Bianca and Charlotte. And if I had to book the tag titles, it would be Sammy and KO versus DIY. But that's how I would do it. But yeah, that was like I said, Monday Night Raw. I will see you back here, guys. I will see you guys back here for AEW Dynamite. hopefully, I know I didn't do much of reviewing last week, unfortunately, but that will hopefully change soon, and I will try to get back to do. I will review Collision next week. Unfortunately, I didn't get to. I did watch, not MidSummer Champions. No, it was called MidSummer Champions. I did watch that. Very good show. Saiki Kashima is now part of God's Eye, which was very quick. I mean, it sort of makes sense, but, you know, Tommy Ishii is going to go on a little excursion. She was just announced today to go. She will be in Connecticut for 3 or 4 shows for GCW. She will be wrestling Billy Starks on one of these shows, which that match should be a lot of fun. Hopefully, at some point, what the hell is their name? Tony Khan hopefully gets Tommy on the show as well. We got the 4th of July show that's coming up on New Japan Strong. That's going to have Julia challenging Willow Nightingale for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So that should be a lot of fun. But until then, I will see you guys back here for Dynamite. I've been Matt the Misfit. This is Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Until then, we're out.